there, everybody, and welcome to AEW Mash. Paul here, and I'm doing this as a kind of half impression of Mick doing MMA Mash. Am I pulling it off, lads? Probably no. I thought for once I wasn't wanting to kill Mick when it came to fixing the recording of me roaring hello at the top of my lungs, man, because I feel for Mick's ears every week, man. It's only fair for once I actually bring it in nicely and calmly. I know, man. Mick's like, fuck's sake, shite joke. How are we doing anyway, lads? He's alright, man. Just thought I'd bring it in a wee bit easier going. Obviously, Mick Harvey, he's here this week again. He's always fucking here. Go to love it.
Indeed, man. Every week. Day late this week, but nevertheless.
Day late in the dollar short. Aye, obviously we missed our normal recording day, so obviously things will kind of be behind the curve. But hey, fuck it, it's only a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's all good. It's all good. Oh man, hey, you know what I did this weekend, lads? I went and checked out some actual live pro wrestling again. So
fun, baby.
oh mate, so it was my stepdaughter's birthday present. She doesn't turn 7 until like a kind of week and a bit. So it is she finally comes 7. But she is a massive wrestling fan and watches AEW with me every weekend. Like, we'll watch Rampage on the Saturday morning. Rampage, why did I say it like that? We'll watch Rampage on the Saturday morning before she goes to... I did say that's so weird there. Who's Rampage? Is that Adam Page's brother?
Alan and the Hangovers. I don't know.
So retard.
That's that, exactly. Can a parrot get you banned for Chuck E. Cheese? Oh fuck, man. So I was at Pro 2 Wrestling, obviously friend of the show, Logan Storm's wee wrestling promotion. Was out in Troon this weekend in that big ass town hall.
The concert, fucking hell.
Aye.
The concert hall.
Aye, we're all at it, man. We're all at it.
That's a really good venue, man.
Oh, it's genius, by the way. I couldn't believe how well it's suited to like an indie show, like the amount of space and everything, and the kind of, obviously it's got a balcony up above as well.
I just picture the Hammerstein ballroom, but smaller.
Aye, it's just kind of that kind of layout, so it has.
That kind of feel about it.
Got a nice big stage and all that, so cracking place. We got front row seats, man, so we literally were right up the front, right in front of the ring, man. It's great. We happened to get in just at the right time and get seats. Moment of the weekend was the ring announcer saying who in here's called Ruby, and she got a wee sing song for the full crowd, man. Great, man, great, good night of wrestling, man. But you know the funniest, right? And this is one of these things where, as a parent, you think, shit, dad, but it was really funny. So she's getting really into it, and she's shouting at all the heel wrestlers, and she's stop that, don't you touch on all this. Very, very involved when it's the women's match. And it was Emily Hayden, who was at the first Pro 2 show that we were at, Mick. The heel, the kind of heavier lassie. And she's shouting, get off her and all that. And then Emily Hayden won and jumped out the ring and started jaw-jacking along the front row. And I thought, oh no, she's going to totally give Ruby something. So Ruby, of course, being wee brave Ruby, stood up and pointed and shouted, "You're a cheater, you!" And did Emily Hayden take the wee slip of paper that the ring announcer had to announce Ruby's birthday and blow her nose with it and then throw it back to Ruby? Threw it at Ruby, and Ruby went, "You're mean!" and started crying.
Oh no!
I was like, oh no! But I couldn't help for laughing. I was like, brilliant heel work, and then oh shit, she's crying. So I'm like, no, not that, let's pretend, don't worry, it's alright, she's not really nasty. Ruby's freaking out. She wants to be very nice to children. I want to complain. No, we can't complain. Oh my God. She had the fucking time of life though, man. Apparently I have won birthdays with wrestling. That's her favourite ever present ever. Girliest wee girl ever.
Not bad.
Wrestling is what she loves. Go love it. Oh jeez. But I thought that obviously that's why we're a day late, is because I was taking Ruby to that for her birthday, man. And that's what kind of hit his off recording schedule. So I thought it'd kind of fill these in on it. Fucking great laugh. Really, by the way, we should totally take your wee girl to it. Mick, she would have, I think she'd have a great laugh. There were so many kids there, man. I mean, she'd maybe get bored halfway through it, I think, but the amount of other kids that are up high-fiving wrestlers and all that, and great laugh.
There are some days where my wee will sit and watch the wrestling with me, and she'll ask questions, and she seems to really enjoy it. But then there's other times where she's just not interested in the slightest.
Give a shit. Aye, like any normal child. Aye, like any normal child.
So I don't know how that would get in.
Aye.
Maybe in a couple of years.
Aye, maybe in a couple of years, right enough, man. But aye, fucking great day, man. Really funny. The fact that the heel got her crying, unbelievable. Unbelievable. She had a proper afternoon, mate, man. Oh, fuck. Anyway, AEW, by the way, lads. Obviously, title Tuesday. Do you see that they won the head-to-head war with NXT for viewership? Obviously, they ran at the same time as NXT last week.
I mean, like,
obviously,
for the listeners, now giving everybody my shocked face.
And he is not shocked. He's indeed not shocked. He's not in the slightest bit shocked.
NXT is no what it once was. So
aye. Even
it's no competition.
Aye. It still seems to be much the same. Kind of roughly the same kind of thing, really. Like, there are some good things on it, and largely it's very, very, very missable. But AEW obviously ran against it and achieved the higher audience. Down from their previous kind of weeks of hitting the million, obviously, because they're out of their usual slot, but that always seems to happen in America with televiewing.
Plus, I think there was a lot of baseball on or something.
I think that's what it is now. It's World Series kind of time now. I think it's happening. Kind of a lot of other kind of sports and all that. It's kind of that's their kind of season wrapping up for baseball. I'm always amazed folks that watch baseball. Like, have you ever tried to watch baseball live?
No.
Aye.
Would you think, Harvey?
No for me, man.
Some days I can do it. Some
I know
days
you
I
like
can't.
cricket.
Just depends.
And probably comparing it to cricket's harsh in cricket, by the way.
Cricket's a lot better.
Jesus.
Exactly, Mick. I mean, it's like the slowest fucking game of rounders you will ever see. Like, that is what it's like. It's like, remember how playing rounders at school was fun and really exciting and high paced and everybody's running about? Imagine that, but shite.
I mean, that's it in a nutshell. They've just changed some of the rules for baseball.
Aye.
So they have to make it a bit more fast paced.
It's rounders, it's shite, and everybody's in steroids. That should be how they sell the MLB. Because they need to be playing that every night, fucking rotating their arm like that. Of course they do.
It's crazy though, man. Baseball has some of the highest paid athletes.
That's wild.
Like,
it's craziness, man.
It's like, where does the money come from, man? Like, what
the
hell?
Proper pack stadiums to watch men smash balls with sticks. You know what I mean?
They don't. That's the whole thing.
I watched it on YouTube.
The only time
that
they're really packed. The only time it's really packed is when you get to the World Series and stuff.
Oh, really? I'm judging like the full hang on what I've seen of like.
All the kind of biggest bits, all the kind of exciting bits.
Just there's like that all the time.
The only places that really kind of sell out regularly is like iconic teams like the Yankees and then the Boston Red Sox, who have a fantastic stadium, you know. So folk go there because of the stadium.
It's like a tourist bucket list sort of thing, obviously, isn't it, Mayor?
Aye. So, it's just strange. I mean,
South Park nailed what baseball is for people.
I know, like some of the parks, some of the ballparks, you get like freaking dollar beers and stuff, man.
Oh, hey, aye,
So-
right, wait a minute. Aye, no, that I didn't know. Baseball now sounds a hell of a lot
Some of
better
them-
all of a sudden.
Aye. So
I mean, I'm not a beer drinker, but a dollar a beer, a pint is, aye, fuck, call me Babe Ruth.
apparently, like a few folk that I know who don't like baseball have been to baseball games in America, just doing a touristy thing. You know what I mean? When they went to America, so and they, I don't understand why they went to the game and they don't like baseball, but whatever. But they said that when you're in the actual park, it's a completely different. Like it's actually fun,
Right.
Well, I
It's
don't
actually
know.
known as,
Apparently, the atmosphere and stuff is good. Like whatever.
probably because everybody's under the kind of understanding that it's shite.
Everybody's smashed.
So let's just get through.
Everybody's
Should
smashed.
should we talk about AEW?
Aye,
or-
you know what? So thanks for tuning into Baseball Mash this week. We'll catch up next week. Bye. Right, back to AEW wrestling. So as I was saying, lower numbers on a Tuesday, Major League Baseball. Leave that back with 5 minutes ago's patter there. Title Tuesday, lads. It was actually a very packed card this week. John Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page. I'm sure we'll come to that for sure. The main event. Tony Storm versus Hikaru Shida, also for the interim women's championship. Ring of Honor World Championship was on the line. Dalton Castle, Chris Jericho, and to open the show, the AEW Trios Championship between the Best Friends and Death Triangle. Probably best to start there for a very, very hot and high-paced opener, lads. What did we think?
Pretty good match.
Pretty good match, yes. That is a very safe and easy sort of answer to this. You're pretty much saying the obvious there, man, and I don't mind it. It was very, very fun.
It was very much as predicted. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Like we said last week, probably Trent will take a pin because unlikely that the Best Friends are picking up the titles here.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. We speculated that Pac would, sort of go down the route of doing more his sort of cheating and heelishness. And he would get called up in it, most likely by Wee Ray. Again, proved to be right there with what we're talking about.
Obviously
That's
being the
pretty
more
much what
face
happened.
wrestler,
So,
I mean, we called it.
Yep.
I like that they're going this way with Death Triangle. But for all that they have been a very entertaining faction, they are very much hodgepodge with Pac being paired with the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah.
I feel like the Lucha Brothers have too much charisma to be heel all their life. Like they are just far too charismatic. They're too loved. So maybe splitting Pac off once these titles are eventually dropped. This is a good way to kind of build and kind of bed that story in.
Yeah.
At least it allows for this kind of tactic they seem to have with the Death Triangle, where they seem to be losing a lot as well. Like that's one thing. They're trios champions, but I feel like every other week there's a Death Triangle member losing somewhere. A lot of defeats, like tag defeats, singles defeats, all over the place. So
Yeah.
I don't mind this. I don't mind this. Very, very good match. They had me, I've got to say, when Penta goes to vault off Ray into the Code Red Canadian Destroyer and Trent catches him in it to hit him with what do you call it again, their finishing move, the crunchy into it when it's the strong zero and the foot stomp. I think, can't mind.
Sounds about right.
Aye, but it's the Best Friends double team finisher. That I genuinely was. I was goat there, and I'll give them that. That was a hell of a lot of fun. Brilliant, man. Aye, good match. Very good match. What did we think about the Renee Paquette promo with Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Bryan? Bryan Danielson. Fuck, Paul. WWE, Paul. Wow. Some week this week, lads. Wow. Right. So obviously this is what we had kind of suggested again. I feel like we're fucking Nostradamus in this podcast, lads. Like,
Oh, yes.
we basically are. Again, sensible booking here. I think that's the kind of theme of the night, really. As far as this show went, sensible kind of decisions being made as far as booking wrestlers in the right kind of breaking away. That wee bit of personality for Wheeler Yuta. What's next here?
Yep. Interesting. So, they've kind of... It was a good week, kind of sit down interview. Didn't hang about for too long. Got to the point. It's what we were looking for. And then they've put themselves in a position where they could go in a couple of different directions, which is pretty cool. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they could let this kind of spiral off, and over months you could form a storyline where there's like a void between Yuta and Danielson, and that can just build over time, potentially leading to a split at some point in time. You know what I mean? Having to pick sides and whatever. So, whether that's to completely break Blackpool Combat Club up, or whether it's just to drop somebody for the team, you know, whether that's Danielson or Wheeler Yuta or whatever, or somebody else.
Whatever the plan is.
So it gives them options, which is great, because that's something that AEW rarely give themselves. Normally they just kind of put themselves into a corner and figure it out.
I'm totally with Wheeler Yuta in this kind of promo as well. Like, I feel like he's the conduit of the fans here. Like, Wheeler Yuta's had to literally fight his way into the faction, trial by fire against all these big, like, against the two big wrestlers, like against Moxley and against Danielson, just to get some of the respect that Danielson has for Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
Like, I can totally buy into why he would be furious with that. The frustration.
Somehow or another, that one wee promo, you know, that handful of lines for Yuta makes all the shit they've been doing with Appreciation Society, Jericho Appreciation Society, and Garcia and Danielson and all that nonsense that's been going on for weeks, and it was questionable for a bit, and then they were going somewhere with it, and then they backtracked, they made it crap again. But now suddenly there's meaning to it again. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing's got a direction again, just with a few lines for you.
It's definitely saved it a wee bit. It's definitely helped it. Like, it's put a dimension into it again, because I feel like they'd literally, as you say, Mick, they backed themselves into a corner booking wise again with it for no reason other than, fuck it, we need to lengthen this. Because I think it was yourself, one that kind of speculated as this, because they've not quite got a telly deal yet, and they don't want to make a star out of Garcia just yet. They need to kind of keep him simmering, as it were.
It's very much what it feels like. You know, like they were expecting a deal to happen, and it's been delayed for reasons. So they've decided to also delay the storyline.
I can't mind where I read it this week, but I'm sure it was some sort of kind of rumour that HBO Max might be the home for Ring of Honor TV, and that it's looking like an almost done deal that it's going to happen in 2023.
Right, okay.
Like, it's pretty much a safe shout that it will just be something for Discovery Warner's streaming service.
Right.
Obviously being HBO Max.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I mean, it's similar to how WWE put NXT on the network for a while. Like, that's where that lived pretty much until AEW was created. So it'd be interesting to see what actually happens with that next year. But potentially good news. I think
I was preparing to speculate at some point in the show when it came up after the announcement of the Ring of Honor pay-per-view to come in December.
I remember we were talking about it. I'm sure they've still got another. So Final Battle in December.
Yep, so it is indeed happening. We're going to get a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. We're getting Final Battle in December. Don't remember the date. But I was
10th. I can't remember exactly.
Right. I was preparing to speculate that could potentially lead into a Ring of Honor TV show debuting at some point in January. That's what I was going to suggest. I don't know whether that's closer or further away now, knowing that they're potentially going to HBO Max.
I think you might see an announcement on that pay-per-view potentially. Like, I'm sure it is the weekend of the 10th. It's either the 10th or the 11th of December. It's coming up, I'm sure.
Cool.
But aye, it's some. I feel like it's something that they now need AEW. Like it's some of the Ring of Honor stuff has been good, but I feel like it's like a millstone around the company's neck at this point. Like there's a lot of belts on telly every week. That's what I liked about this week. It was more simplified, just with 4 title belts. Like at some weeks you can go up to 9 title belts you'll see on telly. A week. Like it is an awful.
That's no counting the belts that are for other promotions.
Exactly. Aye, like it is a bit crazy.
Belts galore at times, but you could speculate that, you know, like divisions and titles that we've talked again and again about booking not being great and stuff being afterthoughts. You know, maybe that could all improve rapidly if there's none of the Ring of Honor stuff taking up AEW time.
Like if it has its own
so then
home.
they're able to have mid-card matches that kind of foster different sort of programs and storylines that lead us to interesting title matches throughout the divisions, as it were.
Aye, I think that's the way you've got to kind of look at it, and I think it helps Ring of Honor as well, breathing its own, and even the Ring of Honor pay-per-views, like it looks like there's only going to be 4 of them a year, the same way that there's only going to be 4 AEW pay-per-views. So it gives everything its own kind of space and kind of universe to kind of live in a wee bit. And there can be a wee bit of kind of back and forth between the main roster and the development roster, as it were. Obviously, it's not quite like that with Ring of Honor and AEW. It's seen as 2 separate companies. But you imagine that's what it'll fall into in time, as the rising stars in Ring of Honor will kind of look to become the stars of AEW in the future. MJF, lads, this week again passed on
MJF.
It's the thing, Harvey. It's again Nostradamus, motherfuckers. I said it could be a thing, and he was spellbinding.
Yep.
Funny.
I mean, remember when we first started the podcast and you were talking about MJF and
I can't shut up about him anytime, mate.
You know how brilliant he is and this and that, and for myself, I was like, nah, I don't quite see it. Like I don't quite, something not. And then over time, he's just won me over, and I'm a big fan.
Aye.
And you said it would happen, not exactly how it would happen this way, but pretty much.
I said it was possible, certainly. I said it was possible that he could have a crowd in the palm of his hand as a face as well as a villain. And that's I feel like since he's came back as well, like he just gets it all the more than he ever used to. Like his projection of voice now, like the way he speaks now is it's like a boy into a man, just about. It's maybe not quite as drastic as that, but there is a marked difference in how he is talking in ring.
His character's shifted. And that time away, when he came back, rather than being the head of a faction and hiding behind the faction and his hired goons, as it were, he's came back very much as a solo star. You know what I mean? Like it was as if like before he was this cocky rich kid hiding behind guys, whereas now he's this confident kind of man in his own right, as it were. It's just subtle changes in how he delivers his promos and stuff. He is absolutely phenomenal. It has to be said.
Honestly, it was compelling to watch. It was. Can he take your eyes off at stuff with him and Will? I mean, the fact that he spoke for about 10 minutes on his own here, no wrestling, no bumps, just him and his voice and that ability to charm the world, man, and tell this story. I mean, obviously, the content of the story he tells, obviously it's William Regal. He's kind of hinted at them having a history in the previous week that he's going to address, which he does, and it's about him as a teenager getting a WWE tryout, and William Regal loving him, and once he finds out that he's so young, saying, "Oh, we can't hire you, son. You're too young. Go out there and do your thing, and keep selling me stuff. I will get you a job." Which then progresses into, "I'm not seeing a wrestler there. I'm seeing an actor." And that rejection, like he uses the phrase, and usually I hate it when folks say this in wrestling promos because I don't believe the sincerity of it. When he screams that it made me want to kill myself, I believed it. I believed what he was saying. He made me believe what he was saying. I genuinely think he was that upset. And it calls back to his promo kind of war that he had with CM Punk about the depressed, dyslexic wee Jew boy bullied at school and all that. He brings all that back in, and he doesn't mention CM Punk. Like he's using his own history, even with the persona non grata kind of folk, and just making it so good, man.
Yep.
I'm doing the Donald Trump hand as I talk here and everything, man. I'm that into it.
I have to say, I was completely glued to it.
He's must watch, mate.
No, but the thing is, not just him. Like, so William Regal, he's got a podcast nowadays.
He does. Very good podcast.
Gentleman
Villain.
Very good, actually. Gentleman Villain podcast. He's been doing it for about 6 months or something now, I think. Would highly recommend it to anybody that's interested in wrestling, especially hearing about that kind of side of it for an old head like that, kind of, I'm not a very old school guy with that British style, but he talks about he's got a very different outlook in certain things. And one of the things that he talks about a lot, he feels quite strongly about, is to never sell. He doesn't go in with the attitude of being an actor or being somebody that's pretending. He reacts when he's in the ring, whether it's a promo or whether it's actually working with somebody in the ring, physically wrestling. He reacts to what's happening. So if he gets punched, he reacts to that punch. He doesn't sell, that he's been hit with a massive punch. He reacts to what's there in front of him. So if the person doesn't throw the punch right, then he'll react accordingly. He doesn't sell just because. And that's the kind of difference that he talks about. And the thing with that promo, that whole time, the MJF is just going on, and as good as he was, and as glued to every one of his words as I was also watching Regal's face and seeing the reaction for him, and it was like a mix of being in kind of like pride and being in awe of what you see in front of him, but then at the same time, like the wee smirks and just the wee things that he's doing with his face, reacting to what MJF's saying, and then he turns it around and he gets his turn, and he was phenomenal as well, man. I think Regal's kind of undervalued as a promo guy.
Yeah, by the way,
he delivered, man.
He did. His riposte about the if it's an email that what it took, then by Christ, son, you've had it so easy. Your life has been easy. Like, I'd grown men beating me up every night when I was 16 years old, crying, covered in blood-stained sheets and all that. Like,
it was like a retort to a generation. You know what I mean?
It was, man. That's what it was like. It was young people, the young person and young kind of generation. I've got it so hard, and the older generation biting back with the youth. I think you've got fucking problems. The men that I came up with and Maddie, it was phenomenal. The fact that MJF got a guy who gets that sort of, William Regal gets that sort of legendary love that no matter what he does, if he could come out and shit on the stage, folk would cheer. Folk would go, yes, Willie, show me that stage. They would love the guy for it. It doesn't matter what he does. He's got that, and he deserves that kind of love for what he's put into wrestling, by the way. Like, as you say, Mick, he is an absolutely fantastic listen in a podcast, the way he breaks down wrestling, the way he loves wrestling. Like, he genuinely loves the sport of wrestling. But the fact that MJF got the crowd to boo him, I mean, that shows you just the impact of what MJF was saying. But conversely, Regal's reply was fucking phenomenal, and the dropping his guard and turning round and saying, take the easy shot. That's all you've ever done.
Yep.
Change my mind. And he does. It all comes back at the end of the episode. Whether that was meant to happen like that at the end of the episode, or whether they've called that in the fly, I'm not sure. If they've called that end on the fly, then props to the man, because that is fantastic. Because that's a story told over the episode of you're fantastic and you are every bit as talented as you think you are, but you take the easy way out, and here's you coming out like a man, chucking the chip in Regal's arms and saying, I'll take you on at the pay-per-view. I'm no jumping you. Nobody is hitting you here. This is me and you. And it's going to be great. And at the pay-per-view, it's going to be a last-minute cheat for MJF to win, and it's going to be phenomenal watching everybody lose their minds. You know it's going to happen. It's The Rock. It's The Rock in 1999, where he's just about there as a face, just a bit, and then he's the corporate champion, and everybody goes, motherfucker. That's basically that's what I think they're doing again here. That's what I think's coming, and it's going to be great.
So you think he's going to be heel champ?
I think he's still going to be a heel champ in the end, and I think it's going to be a 180 on his kind of new sort of fire of proving himself as a man to all these kind of top of the card wrestlers. He's going to cheat just at the very last minute. Just when Moxley is starting to respect him, that's when he's going to cheat, and it's going to mean all the more. Because it's going to be for the sake of winning, and it's going to come back to the I can't even look at myself in the mirror, but if that's what it takes to make me the world champion, then fine. That's what it's going to come down to. Which plays into his character as the devil. Because the devil isn't half charming when he wants to be.
I don't know. I'm a bit convincing in that one. I think for me, like, I'd much rather see him fall into that trope and just go for it. You know what I mean? Try and cheat to win, because that's all he knows. That's what he's been doing for however long. But then to still lose. I want to see him try and cheat to win, but come up short, and really be kind of sort of downtrodden and questioning everything, and having Regal he doesn't even need to get on the mic, he just needs to look disappointed in him, turn his back on him and walk away, you know what I mean? And then you've got like the face turners right there, let him build himself back up and actually go and win matches on his own merit. The only thing though is the film, like, you know what I mean, it's just goat cracking. Seems like there's a bit of storytelling to be done there, so aye, I don't know what happens. Going back to the kind of the finish, so obviously Adam Page gets injured,
takes a very bad head bump.
Hope he's doing all right. It seems, it's clothesline going awry. Either he's had a dodgy landing, so it's like the clothesline spot where like he flips on impact. Aye, it's just Moxley's King Kong lariat, his favourite big sort of bruising Stan Hansen looking clothesline that he does, which flips an opponent, and everybody that I've ever seen takes the flip bump and lands face down. It's as if he's just misjudged the flip a wee bit and no quite get the rotation right. I feel like when you see the replays in slow-mo, I think it's the arm of Mox actually catches him in the chin.
Catches him high, which doesn't allow him to rotate. I
think he mistimes his sort of turn. And on Mox maybe just comes in high.
Aye, there's a lot of that going to be on Moxley, where Moxley hits him to allow the rotation to kind of be held down in it.
Aye. So I don't know. Either way, he seems to have got knocked senseless. He's been diagnosed with a concussion.
Yep.
Props to the ref for getting straight in there, man. He saw what was going on, and he dove straight in to check on him. So that's cool, man. But so anyway, then we go to MJF coming out and going on as if he's going to cash in and yada yada. You've covered that bit. I feel like that's something that they had been talking about and planning, but probably no for this week. That's my impression of it. It's been planned. It just wasn't meant to happen this week. Is my best guess, because they put that together very quickly. But that was like a good kind of 5 minutes or so.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, obviously there was 5 minutes. I kind of telling you what was coming in Rampage and all that after the because it was literally about 10 minutes to go, kind of 11, maybe even 11 minutes to go. I think it happened.
I think it would have been hard pressed to have the match go to a natural conclusion and still get that in at the end, unless they were planning and running long. So I wonder if that was planned for like next week, maybe.
Aye, possibly, mate, possibly, and they've brought it forwards for the sake of necessity, really, because of the injury with Hangman. I mean, in all, though, it was a very good episode of Dynamite for me, lads.
Nice.
I had a lot of enjoyment of it. Just when they get it like that, where they just time the pace and just perfectly. It's no too complicated. It's no too noisy. There's no too much going on. That is my sweet spot for watching wrestling TV, man. Like, that's right in the sweet spot as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
Fucking belter. To go from the absolute excellent note, I just want to give this time because I have to mention it. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt and Darby Allin with the interview backstage, and this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like, Alex Marvez is saying, right, you guys have agreed, AEW's agreed to interview you guys with the assurance that there's no physicality. And then halfway through the interview is, right, out here, Alex, there's going to be physicality. And then they trap Darby under the slowest moving electric door I've ever seen. And then he runs outside to give him a figure four. This was the stupidest shit this was dog shit, but I couldn't stop laughing at how stupid it was.
I don't think AEW knows what to do with that team.
Aye, wait.
Lethal and Co.
Lethal and Sanjay Dutt and Satnam.
I get the feeling Satnam Singh didn't live up to what they hoped.
Aye, training wise.
Rather than them getting booked as a big team, they've backpedaled, and now they're thinking, right, we've got Jay Lethal, who's probably getting paid quite a bit, and they're thinking, we need to do something, get him active, because we can't have him sitting in the sidelines while we're waiting and Satnam getting better. Aye,
it's just a total and utter clusterfuck. It was the speed of the electric door, and Excalibur just working his balls off to try sell it. Oh, the door! It was. I've never seen anything so fucking stupid in my life. It was shite, absolute shite. Nothing but shite. But
you know what I thought was funny?
What did you think was funny, man?
When Rio came out.
Suddenly Rio appeared at the end of the women's interim title match.
But it was like she forgot what she was running out today.
I was a wee bit like
she was like, and then she's like, I need to run down.
And a touch of the Jeff Hardy about it, isn't it? Remember when Jeff Hardy saved Matt, but he still managed to get his two extreme dance moves in on the way down. Like, your brother is getting a scheme booting. Stop dancing, you neon goth.
Rio's a funny one with me, man. I don't get it. I don't get the attraction.
Folk love her.
Aye, she's so over, and like people going like, I mean, I've not seen any of her matches for Japan, I don't think. Maybe that's what I'm missing, but she seems to get a lot of love as somebody that's quite a hard hitting sort of, I don't know if it's a shoot style at times in Japan or what, but like she seems to have quite the reputation.
Oh, she's a bit more strong style, I think, is what would
strong style, aye.
We're striking, certainly, aye. There's a lot more contact getting in there where he was.
But then I just look at her as like the size of a 12-year-old girl, and I'm thinking, I cannot believe anything you're doing in there's doing into, especially when it's up against somebody like Jamie Hayter, Which I think that's the match we're getting this week.
That is, by the way, that's what's going to come in Dynamite.
I've seen that before and I didn't like it the first time. There's no need for it. Jamie Hayter could literally pick her up and launch her out the ring. Why do I need to see that as a match? How am I meant to believe anything's happening in there?
I think it's the plucky underdog in her. I think that's what folks seem to love. And the fact that she looks like such a nice girl. Like, she looks like the nicest of the nice wee girls ever. Like, what a nice girl Rio looks like. And there we all these women with OnlyFans and fucking like she's just a nice girl. Like, she is a totally different thing in AEW. Like, a totally different proposition.
She beat what's her name for the championship?
She's the first ever AEW
Nyla
women's
Rose.
champion. So she is.
Aye, she was Nyla Rose, wasn't it?
I in Washington, and where Nyla's from in the first episode of Dynamite, she won the women's title, and the place came unglued for her. Like, they genuinely had quite. I mean, it wasn't a perfect match. I'm not going to lie, it definitely wasn't. It was a bit clunky at times, but it had all the right bits in it to make the crowd enjoy it. Like, and this was a tiny wee Japanese girl who nobody knew, and a lassie who came off the Indies who was more kind of signed at, who was more kind of known for being the first kind of trans women wrestler to ever be signed. So both of them were coming in as total unknowns. Like, why should we care? But the crowd went nuts for it in the end. It was a very fun moment in the first ever Dynamite. And I think she just kind of genuinely gets a lot of love for that wee title run. I think as well, the visa issue with Rio has been sorted now, and now she can work in the USA a lot more than she previously could.
Right.
So I get the feeling you'll see her a lot more. You know, it was great though. And it was Big Sandy that alerted all three of us to it, actually. Friend of the show, Sandy Austin. Our Willow has been signed.
Oh,
Willow Nightingale All Elite, man.
Finally.
Aye.
Good time, Tony.
Took him long enough, man. You know, they should go to savour or enjoy it, because Jade was straight out there to sit in the ring.
That is such a fucking kick in the teeth, that, man.
What?
She's waited so long to get her moment, to get signed. And then they do it right before Jade's due to walk out and interrupt.
Get out of the ring, nobody cares about you. They're here to see that bitch.
Nonsense. And then they just brushed over that as well.
That didn't even last that long. She didn't hold up the show. She stormed away.
Harvey's going on about she's going to turn up in Rampage and she's going to have a sit-in, demand her belt, and
the whole show
can last 2 minutes.
I know, and halfway through, I mean, again, see if you're going to say that on a Dynamite, like you're saying, she's saying, I'm going to hijack this show. You kind of have to let her try hijack the show from the start. Not from halfway through.
Yep.
Again, though, thought Nyla Rose was hilarious, nicking her car. Thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Well, I did think that.
The shite karaoke in the front seat of the car and Vicky Guerrero laughing like a hyena, man. Absolutely buckled at it, man. It's the first thing involving Jade Cargill that I've actually got a bit of enjoyment out of for a while.
It needs to be by now, though. I can't put up with that until the pay-per-view. Can't do it.
I mean, you've got a few weeks of the pay-per-view yet, mate. What can Nyla do?
See if this is the lead into the pay-per-view and this is the big match they're going to try and build. Nah, no thank you. No thank you.
Max cashed in at this stage.
No him to the two
enough.
of them. Jade's getting better. I quite enjoy Nyla, but no thank you. Been there, done that.
I mean, again, it's a match that's already been. Jade's already beat her. But then Jade's beat fucking everybody. There isn't a match-up she hasn't won.
Yup.
Absolutely everybody's been beaten. This is the problem, though, when you have the unstoppable fucking heel. Like, eventually it runs out of steam because, oh, well, she's going to win. Like, there's no excitement anymore in it.
Yep.
Fair play to Nyla for at least bringing a bit of comedy into it, man.
Get real.
Feed Rio to her. Rio versus Jade, can you imagine? That big fucking pump kick that Jade does. Oh, no.
She'd take the clean off.
Rio. By God, she's been decapitated. It would be horrific, man.
That'd be a shame.
Oh, man. Interesting to see that they actually did 2 separate live shows this week as well. Back to Daly's Place, man. Pure nostalgia,
Rampage
man.
looks a wee bit sorry in Daly's Place.
Aye, didn't he?
Daly's Place was great at the time for what
Aye.
it was, but it looks like a fucking episode of Dark now.
I think it's because where they film it from the side. Like, you don't really see the crowd, you just see a fucking wall.
Aye.
And at the other camera angle, you see this massive screen and about 200 people.
Yep.
I mean, by all means, I don't think it was the best attended show. It looks like there was only about a couple of thousand there in a 5,000 venue. Like, it doesn't look like it was rammed the way it potentially could usually be Daly's Place.
Yep.
But it didn't look great because of that, man. Like,
Yep.
It served its purpose, I think, for the pandemic. Like, I mean,
I would much rather see them do weekly show at Daly's Place, film Rampage, Dark, and Dark Elevation there pretty much every week, unless there's a pay-per-view on. Like
a home. Although they could have bummed the crowd out before with that, Mick, where they were doing Daly's Place every other week.
Right.
Like they were getting when the attendance went back up in America. They initially were getting decent numbers in Daly's Place, but then they kind of went back there every kind of couple of weeks where they would do shows round about the kind of Florida area, and well, obviously America opened up in kind of phases, like different states had different COVID laws.
Aye.
So they were every few weeks. It was just about one in 2021 they were back to Daly's Place, and it seemed to me like they were burning out the crowd because, like, fair enough, going to the wrestling's awesome and all that, but in a pandemic and everywhere in the world's obviously suffering for fucking finances not been right and all this.
Yep.
Like, you're talking $30, $40 to go to wrestling every few weeks, man. Not everybody can do that, mate. And
True.
it's a bit of a chore at the end of the day, innit, man? Like, like, that's the kind of magic of wrestling being a kind of national touring thing in America, is it allows that local market to get a chance to kind of want to see it again. You know what I mean?
Aye. Yep.
Like, they're not burning out their audience. Like, it would be interesting to see them go to different places, like newer places in America, because there's got to be places they haven't been yet. Like, they're always in Chicago, they're always in Florida, New Jersey, New York area they seem to target now as well. Like, there's fucking loads of different bits of America that they've not been to yet, man.
What's your opinions on Orange Cassidy inserting himself in the feud of diminishing returns?
Did you see the backstage vignette for it? The kind of Always Sunny in Philadelphia type of skit that they tried to do.
With Orange behind the bar.
Aye, Orange behind the bar, and then Tony was at the edge of the bar. Did you see Tony Khan in it as well?
No, I didn't even notice Tony.
Right, so I don't think that... They obviously didn't show that in Rampage, but they showed it on YouTube.
Ah.
If you look for it on YouTube, there's a full video where Orange Cassidy goes, "Is that okay with you, Tony?" And it scans along to the end of the bar, and Tony Khan's there, and he goes, "Absolutely fine with me. Book it." And I think if he'd have delivered it better, it would have been really funny. But it's Tony Khan, so it's the most awkward version of reading lines you've ever seen.
Yep.
So it was like, "Absolutely fine with me. Book it." And he chapped his drink down.
So they decided to cut that bit when it came to Rampage then.
Because, of course, it's Tony Khan, man, and he is, as you know, the most awkward fucker in the world.
Nice. There's social awkwardness, and then there's Tony Khan.
It's just who he is, man. It's all right, Tony. It's just who he is, man.
Yeah.
It was a fun enough main event. That's one thing you'll say about it. But again, it was very Dark Elevation-ish. Like, did Preston Vance and Roosh benefit from being in the main event with Orange Cassidy?
No.
I don't think it made any bigger stars at them.
I really feel for Preston. Seemingly he was on the precipice of a big push, kind of a big match with Andrade. Seemed like he was going to be kind of set free almost from Dark Order and get a bit of singles push. felt like that was the direction they were going. Then Andrade decided to be an arsehole.
Aye.
And so then they were going to do the match for Rush instead. And then for reasons, they've backed out of that and they've flung Orange in there to make it more main event-y, I guess. I don't know.
Basically, aye, to give it a bit more sort of main
And
event
then-
pizzazz with a title.
Then they have 10 take the pin.
Yeah, aye.
And
it
then
was,
the
the story
pins-
was, of course, with the mask being in his face,
Aye.
wasn't it?
But it's all just a bit of a clusterfuck. And
I mean, I think that's the end. The end game here is that he loses his mask. But it's way over time. Like, it should have happened a fucking while ago. It's
it's a shame, man.
a big, handsome, fucking heavyweight boy being trapped behind this mask. Like, it's similar to when they tried Anna Jay in the mask. Like, you're thinking, why? Why, oh, why? Fair enough, that's the Dark Order's thing, but it's fucking stupid, man. It is, I'm sorry, it is a bit stupid. Fair enough, Uno has a mask, that's cool. And fair enough, you had Silver and Reynolds kind of wear the mask for a wee while, but they saw sense with that quick enough because of how good Silver and Reynolds are. I don't get it. Like,
I wouldn't be opposed to them. I mean, it's kind of a bit late now, but I wouldn't have been opposed to them going the route of, the kind of style walkout that the likes of Andrade and Rush do, where they come out in the gear, they've got the mask
you
on,
take it off, aye.
and then they take it off. Aye.
Not a bad shout.
Wouldn't be mad at that.
Probably could do it now without Andrade being there. He's not coming to work anytime soon. Speaking of not coming to your work anytime soon, what do you see the talk about CM Punk that they're now looking to buy him out effectively of his contract, and that he is effectively he's not wanted back in any kind of quarters of the AEW dressing room. He's burnt his bridges so spectacularly that even people who would have bought it for him on the weekend of All Out.
Seems to be still, like a few folk kind of saying like never had any issues with him. But,
Aye.
It's that kind of like I don't, he's always been good to me and everything else. But probably no best idea to have him back.
No, I mean,
one of them. I seen something interesting saying that some sources at WWE saying that obviously Vince McMahon would never bring him back, but with Triple H at the helm, there's a possibility.
I think that's even been shot down now to Harvey. Like that's now even been killed. I think it's Wade Keller. I think had spoke to somebody within Triple H's inner circle who'd said there is absolutely no way he's signing for WWE. Triple H would be out of his mind to sign him because of the trouble that he brings.
I watched a wee thing with RVD.
All right.
Did I send it to you? I don't know.
Don't think so.
He was doing an interview. I can't mind who it was interviewing him, but basically in it, obviously, they talk about CM Punk.
All right, aye.
And,
RVD likes a shooting folk, aye.
And RVD was like, well, whatever. Everybody has big egos in wrestling, yada yada. I say, but one of the most telling things was when CM Punk was just come in the door. I think he was in for about a month. RVD was off, so he never really got to meet him or anything. He said that one day he just come in and CM Punk was like, "Oh, we're having a meeting, backstage in the locker room." Like he was holding the meeting, and he's like, RVD's like, he's only been in here a month. And he's fucking holding meetings. Like, what's going on? Like, aye. So he's like, aye, so he can be a bit,
I'm sure I've heard stories about
in his mind, he's the boss
for that kind of attitude.
Aye.
Like, for the kind of the.
It's like just in the door thinking he's the boss. Like,
self-appointed leader kind of part. It's mental to think it's only 13 months and a bit. He was signed for years and now nobody wants him back near the ring, either AEW or WWE.
It's crazy.
Honestly, it is the most incredible set of circumstances. And not just that, and in the 13 months he's been back, he's been out, 3 months as well with a foot injury.
That I don't mind. It's like shit happens. But
9 months of active wrestling, and that the public opinion has totally and utterly flipped on him in a lot of ways.
Tanked.
Like,
aye.
I mean, there is still folk who want to see him back and all that, but to be to be in that shot after all that time out and to leave it in such a toxic way, man, where you really hurt your own company with your kind of post-match kind of patter and everything else that allegedly follows, man. It's wild, man. Absolutely wild.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the only thing I think about is that it's so gutting because knowing how good Punk is as a heel and how good he is at blending sort of, kayfabe and non-kayfabe, as it were.
Aye.
He's really, really, really good at bringing just enough of reality into what he's doing and saying that if they could work out their differences, a feud between him as a heel and the Elite as a face group, it would be so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could,
so
the
good.
money you could make for it, Mac, it's incredible.
They could run a program for 12 months and you wouldn't get tired of it.
CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, I mean, who wouldn't want to see that?
Aye.
Yep.
And it'll all be left on the table because he genuinely seems like he cannot be worked with. He wants it, but he also wants paid the money that he get promised.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is where the fallout is. I see the Bucks changed their Twitter back to having All Elite Wrestling in their Twitter again in their background.
Aye, so something I was going to say, it looks as like, I've not seen it official, but it looks as if the investigation's by way.
Aye.
So they changed one of the video packages get changed back, so Punk actually features in a video package again, and the Elite have been, I can't remember whose promo it was, but the Elite were mentioned in a promo.
That's right, aye.
MGF kind of alluded to some stuff with the Punk and that. So like it seems as if like some of the kind of restrictions have been lifted. Obviously they're not all back in place, but it seems like wheels are in motion to kind of sort this out now.
Aye.
What's his face got the sack?
Ace Steel's a goner, aye.
Aye.
Aye, he's out apparently. Obviously, Cutler was in AEW Dark. Christopher Daniels
Cutler's back wrestling. Yeah,
Buck's back as well.
Mm-hmm.
So all the kind of bystanders that were just in the way of the nonsense, they're all back. So, it's about time that everyone kind of moved on for it. Certainly, it's amazing. It shows you the damage it did. That 2 months later, nearly, it's still pretty much the first point in any wrestling news channels. Kind of like it's their main picture and their main headline. Effectively, any Punk or Elite related.
I wonder if they have the Elite come back at the pay-per-view. I also wonder.
Dynamite, man, I wouldn't even wait to the pay-per-view. If they're ready to go again, get them back in now.
I also wonder if they go straight back to the trios and they have Death Triangle drop the belts to them.
If you do it through Pac try to cheat or something like that straight away. I mean, again, that seems weird for them just to get passed back the belts, just as if, that's them back, it's their titles.
Aye.
It's their idea.
Yep.
Their baby, etc., etc. It's very strange.
Do they need to build back up to it?
They probably do.
Do they need to build back up to it? Because then the thing is, if they're building back up, then where do you start with that? You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, as the stuff we spoke about with the number of belts that's on the telly, the Ring of Honor stuff going on, and top of everything else, and the fact that Pac's had his sort of feud with Orange Cassidy, the trios division isn't really there, don't it? I mean, it's there, but it's not active.
Mental to think that, that it somehow is kind of suffering a dearth of trios championship kind of contenders. When I remember when it was announced, saying, "Look at the amount of fucking teams." I remember actually one of our first Midweek Mashed Tattie podcasts talking about the potential for trios belts in AEW is massive. There is so many 3-man teams, but now all of a sudden there isn't. Like it's
they're all away.
Just disappeared, man.
Where are
House of
holidays?
Black gone. Like it's Dark Order. Apparently they don't do trios anymore for whatever reason. Like, it's, fuck knows, man. It's so weird.
No.
Very, very weird. Oh, lads. Anyway, I think as far as the podcast goes this week, we better get ourselves out of here and fucking move on with life and so on and so forth and all that kind of patter. Obviously, AEW goes back to Wednesday this week. This podcast may drop on Wednesday. Maybe no. Can I see how it goes, obviously, with time and all that, obviously. Mick's got to do all this mixing and mastering and so on and so forth. It's a fucking long job. I'm sure you can tell the listeners, Mick. It's
Time
no
consuming.
fucking easy job, and by Christ, I love him for it. Man.
I've got a shift ahead of me in the morning.
And you've got a shaft and we're not even done recording.
Oh,
man.
no. I'm talking about the editing.
Oh,
the editing
right.
He'd
Okay,
editing that.
fuck, I was giving you double credit there, man. You could have just remembered that. You could have made yourself sound like a fucking king of recording there. And working. But I digress. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we are on all social media platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. Bloody Google Podcast. We're on the lot, basically. We're on everything. What I would really like you to do, if you are new listeners, though, is if you could please just leave us
5 stars, baby! Boom!
on the wee review if you've enjoyed this. And if no, well, fine. It's all right, man. Sure it's wasted an hour. But anyway, we will get ourselves out of here just now. I have been Paul. That has been Mick and Harvey. Above me on the webcam that you guys cannot see. Mick saluted, which you cannot see either. So did I. Harvey's checking his phone, which nobody can see but Harvey. We are out of here.
Goodbye.
Do work things on my phone,
What
okay?
things?
Bye, driver.
Okay, bye, driver. Bye, driver. Goodbye.